Good afternoon. I'm Frank Ehrhardt, broker associate with John R. Wood / Christie's International, and it's been about 16 days now since Ian had come through and done devastation to Southwest Florida, and kind of wanted to bring you up to date and kind of tell you where we are in the restoration process and kind of an outlook as to what's going to happen with the real estate market going forward here. So the area itself is with the exception of the barrier islands, has done really well in getting back to some sense of normalcy. And so most everybody, other than again the barrier islands, Pine Island, Sanibel, and Fort Myers Beach, pretty much all have electricity back. Internet is starting to come back up for most folks now. And then good news for the barrier islands, they now have the road to Pine Island completed and allowing linemen to get over to Pine Island to put electricity lines back up. I think they're allowing residents as well. Sanibel Causeway also done for the linesmen, I don't think, and actually residents as well. Fort Myers Beach, the south end of the beach, the entranceway is still closed. North end is open. I'm hearing that it's taking hours and hours and hours for people lined up trying to get back in to see what's left of their places. So getting back to again some sense of normalcy here. Schools are back in session starting Monday for most of the area. There are schools that will not open because of damages. We're seeing restaurants open daily. A lot of the places here are now back up and running. And for those that unfortunately did incur damage, it looks like most of the damaged roofs have now been tarped, and then a lot of the process has been dried out. A couple pictures here of homes of people that I know, one showing the damage aftermath of taking items out of the house. And the second picture I think is pretty interesting too. This home had about 8 inches of water in it, and you can see from this picture the water line and how quickly the mold had started to grow in this house. This house was just, drywall was just pulled out of this week. So despite all the progress, it's still going to be a long time for the rebuild process. Contractors were backed up before this all happened. Supply chain was also been disrupted a number of times with COVID. So it's going to be a long process to rebuild, but we are on our way there. And here's some information for those of you that still need assistance. So here's the website for FEMA. If you need the phone number, give me a call or give me an email, and I'll get you that number. And then the Cape Coral Caring Center. A lot of people have been out of work for the last couple of weeks and need assistance with daily things, food primarily. They can help with electric bills. Cape Coral Caring Center is a great organization. Feel free to reach out. They're right here in Cape Coral. And then I also want to give a shout out to Nortec Boats. It's a company here in Cape Coral. They have about 200 employees here. Them and Mercury Racing, one of their suppliers, just donated $50,000 to the Cape Coral Caring Center. So I was there when they handed over the check the other day. So that's going to help immensely with Cape Coral Caring Center being able to help folks that need it right now. So the question that people are starting to ask, I know it's still fairly early, but at least wanted to have maybe a silver lining of hope for those of you that have gone through this storm here. History tells us that after a major event, hurricane like this, it's fairly quiet for the first 30, 60 days. And then after that, the market actually rebounds past where it had been previously. And so I've got a couple of reports that I can refer to here. The first question people ask is, well, why? Why would somebody want to live where they just had a major hurricane? And so it's the same thing as to why people move here in the first place. The tax structure, oftentimes better than the environment that people are coming from. Certainly the warm weather, once the weather gets crummy back up north, People are going to want to escape the winters as they have always. Unlike some areas that have natural disasters, I lived in California for a while. Earthquakes, no notice at all. Wildfires, oftentimes very little notice. I grew up in Chicagoland. Tornadoes, you can tell there's a thunderstorm, but you don't really get a whole lot of advance notice for tornadoes. So the only benefit of hurricanes is that we do have notice that we are going to have a hurricane, and so we can usually track it, 7-10 days out, and as the cone narrows, as it gets closer, we do have the opportunity to leave the area if we so choose. And of course, we are going to have people that are going to say, you know what, this isn't right for me. I'd prefer not to have to worry about the hurricanes, and I'm gonna get my house back together. I'm gonna get it ready. I'm gonna sell. And so, and there are going to be people too that maybe they don't have the right insurance, maybe they didn't have insurance, and so those are people that are probably going to be putting their houses on the market possibly sooner than later if they don't want to spend the money to renovate a home or spend the time to do it. I think people are not really thinking how long this is going to take to rebuild. As some of you know, I'm building a house. I'm well past 2 years into my home build right now, and honestly, this is going to add another month or two to my timeline. I'm hopeful that I'm in by spring of 2023 right now. So that's gonna deter people from rebuilding as well. I wanted to share some specific examples too, showing that the areas do rebound after a hurricane. The first study, that's first information, is about Hurricane Michael that hit Mexico Beach back in 2018. And so you'll see two pictures here. One of them is a pretty famous picture. There was one house standing. It was a newer construction, and it withstood the hurricane. And then here's a picture. This was 2018, so this is 4 years later, and you can look at Mexico Beach now, and you can see it has been rebuilt significantly. And so I think that's going to happen with Fort Myers Beach as well. There's going to be a lot of land available when this is all said and done, unfortunately. A lot of the homes that were lost were older homes, stick-built homes, not concrete block. One of the only buildings that is still standing on Fort Myers Beach down by Times Square is the soon-to-be opened, year or two, Margaritaville Resort. And so that is concrete block. It withstood the storm. I'm not sure how much damage it had, but it is still standing. And so I think you're going to find that around Fort Myers Beach, where these areas were devastated, that there is going to be people coming in, developers coming in and putting up newer construction that is built to withstand these types of winds that we just experienced. So with Michael and Mexico Beach, since 2018, prices have been going up anywhere from 5 to 20% every year. And so that was an area that, again, if you compare pictures of the devastation to Mexico Beach to Fort Myers Beach, they look very similar. And so I think 4 years from now, we're going to have a very different look of Fort Myers Beach and what has been going up. People are still going to want to live on the coast. There's always an appeal to live on the beach. And so people have short memories. And so there will be people that will be very interested in coming back, being able to walk to the beach. And, by that time, we'll have commercial buildings going back up as well. The other report is a report that was done by NAR, the National Association of Realtors, back in 2006. And it looked at hurricanes for the last, from 1992 to 2006. I think there were 15 hurricanes that they had looked at. And so one of the interesting things they showed, and again, I'll put this up on screen here, is that, sales were down 60%. The sales were down 60% during the time frame right when the hurricane struck. And then if you go into October, and a month later, they're down 20%. And then November, they're actually up 20% from a year ago. And so again, and that pretty much holds true for all 15 or 16 hurricanes that they identified and went through this process with from 1992 to 2006. So, if you look at our market going into Ian, we were already short on homes, and so I've got a graph here too showing that we'd almost achieved an equilibrium market back at the end of September. So at the end of September, pretty equilibrium market. I think there were 11,283 homes for sale in Cape Coral, or I'm sorry, in Lee and Collier County. That number is going to drop drastically for October. There are so many homes that have damage that aren't going to be saleable at this point in time, that are going to get withdrawn or pulled from the market. It wouldn't shock me if that number drops 30% by time the October numbers come out. And so with that, inventory is going to be again low, and I think this is what's going to keep prices stabilized. And so I think there may be some deals out there. And again, I think this may be from folks that are underinsured, not insured, are looking to get out quickly. We haven't seen too many of those homes hit the market yet. I've got one coming up on Tuesday of next week. That'll be the first one. And honestly, I anticipate that this will be the first home that had flood damage. It's been remediated of drying out, and it's going to be sold, and contractors, and I think contractors are going to flock to it. So I'll let you know how that turns out, but that's what I anticipate here. So kind of what's the timeline? Honestly, we're not that far from the holidays right now. So, and I think some of these conversations may happen with families where they say, well, what are we going to do? Or do we want to stay? Do we want to go? Older parents talk to their kids, and I think by Christmas time, people are going to have decided: are they staying? Are they going? Kind of what is the game plan? But a lot of people like the area here. It's great. We love it, and so a lot of people have family here. A lot of people have jobs here. Kids are in school here. So I don't think that there is going to be a mass exodus. There hasn't been after other hurricanes in the past. I don't anticipate that it's going to happen here. And so that's what I think is going to happen. If you've got any questions, feel free to give me a call. My number is 239-896-3437. Again, any of you that have had damage to your homes or suffered in any way, if there's anything that we can do, again, FEMA's number, Cape Coral Caring Center, both great organizations. And if there's anything we can do here at the office, please let me know as well. Take care, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to everybody soon.